Welcome to the Mental Insights Podcast. This is your host, Brennan Catuli, and we're here for the second interview of this podcast channel. And I'm very excited to introduce Dale Troy. She'll have a lot of explaining to do within stress management and how young adults and adults themselves can focus on reducing their stress levels and increasing their lifestyle in a positive way. So, Dale, please introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're currently doing.
Thank you very much for having me, Brendan. My name is Dale Troy, as you said. I'm a health coach. I don't know if everyone knows what a health coach is, but I'm not a doctor and I'm not exactly a life coach. I really focus on coaching people in relationship to their health. And because of that, stress is a huge part of what I talk about. It became so obvious to me that college students in particular use the word stress constantly, and their experience in college was just creating stress for them. I also have 3 daughters who have been to college recently, and it's the environment in college now is very high pressured, and stress is a common word to be heard on campus. So I have begun really focusing on college students and helping them learn how to manage stress and reduce stress with all sorts of health-oriented tools and habits. And that's what I focus my programs on.
Wonderful. I really appreciate you sharing that and exactly what you do. I think it's very important, and I see it myself as I'm graduating my last year in school. And even for myself, when I was a freshman at my school in Boston, I actually ended up getting the shingles, and it runs within my family, but it was due to a lot of stress that I had that I was going through within college. And that's a huge health risk that was something that I needed to, draw to and focus on firsthand because, the potentials for, letting stress take over your body is definitely very harmful. And so, why don't you just speak more about first off, like what do people experience when they're experiencing stress, and what are some kind of signs that someone can tell if they're going through this, and some possible health risks that they may notice if they aren't aware to their stress levels currently.
Okay, that's a great question. There really are a whole range of symptoms that can be associated with stress, but some of the more common ones would be headaches, stomach aches, not sleeping well, waking up in the middle of the night, having a hard time falling asleep, feeling maybe like sweaty or just like super nervous before something that's important that's going to happen. Those are the kind of the more typical things that people would experience.
Totally. And I think that, you know, for each person, it's definitely very different in what they experience, but it seems like there is a very deep-rooted cause within health being a very positive reliever for that. So why don't you speak about some of the resources that you've been able to research and provide for other people, and kind of some things that you're experimenting with now, and some positive health changes that some people can focus on to reduce their stress.
Sure. One of the most helpful habits that I've been able to teach college students is actually so simple, and people don't realize how simple it is, which is deep breathing. Particularly if you're feeling anxious or stressed, kind of used interchangeably sometimes, you breathe at a very shallow place in your body, and that just causes more anxiety. So when you learn how to breathe slowly and deeply, meaning from your abdominal area, it automatically calms your body down. So for instance, I've generally have college students doing this deep breathing before they go to bed, which puts them in a more restful state. Also, first thing in the morning when they wake up, to kind of just get them ready for the day. And then anytime during the day when they are feeling a little anxious, whether it's possibly, just walking to class and it's a class that they don't really like, or they get nervous about because the teachers are calling on them, for instance, or before a test, or before some kind of athletic event where they're getting nervous about how they're going to perform. So deep breathing is such a great tool, and it's something that can be done. You don't need anything except your body. It can be done any time of day. Nobody even really needs to know that you're doing it. So it's really, it's related to meditation. Meditation is simply, in my mind, just a longer period of time where you're sitting and doing deep breathing and, really relaxing your body. But my version of deep breathing is, you could be just, 4 or 5 breaths done in that fashion, in that deep breathing fashion, that will totally change how you're feeling. So that's always my first thing that I teach people when they come to me and they say that they're feeling so stressed and they just don't know how to manage it. Once I teach them that, they already feel like they have a tool that they can go to whenever they need it. And that's really kind of brings me to, how I view myself. I view myself as someone who is empowering the students to be able to help themselves. I'm not going to be there forever. I work with them for a short period of time, but I want them to know that they have the capacity to control how they feel. And it's not, it's them. And once they know that and they experience how they feel, how differently they feel when they're doing some of these things that I'm teaching them, then they just gain more confidence and they feel calmer about life.
Yeah, if there's another resource that besides breathing and mindful breathing or meditation, that would be wonderful to provide, because I think exactly what you're speaking about, in that having a resource for a college student or young adult when they can do it on their own rather than they need to go seek out a resource, it's very important, because a lot of times those stress levels impact them when they don't have the availability for those resources. So I think it's definitely important. So if you have another resource for them to do besides breathing, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, certainly eating healthy is a big one. Whatever you're putting in your body is going to affect how you feel. So if you're eating, for instance, a lot of fried food and fatty food and things that don't have a lot of nutrition, you're not supporting your body. On the other hand, if you're eating salads and fruits and vegetables that have a lot of nutrients, you're giving your body what it needs. And, your body is trying to feel good. And it's using everything that you're giving it, but you need to support it with healthy choices. So oftentimes I find that college students aren't really thinking about that. They might be thinking about, they don't want to gain weight or, something along those lines, but they're not really thinking about the fact that what they put in their body is supporting how they feel, how it affects their mood, it affects their energy level, it affects, their ability to focus on their work. So it affects everything. So it's kind of very basic, but it's something that would make a big difference for somebody who wasn't eating, making healthy choices in their food. Similarly, drinking water. Most people don't drink enough water. Your body is about 70 or 75% water. So you have to keep replenishing it. You lose water all throughout the day, and it's really, really important to be drinking water all throughout the day. I always suggest that students carry around a water bottle, and that kind of reminds them that they need to be drinking water. I don't know if you know the rule of thumb about water, but I will tell you, which is you are supposed to drink half your body weight in ounces of water every day. So if you happen to weigh 100 pounds, you would need to drink 50 ounces of water a day. Whenever I tell students that, they make their calculation, and generally speaking, they are shocked at how much they're supposed to drink because they don't come anywhere near that. But just think about it. If you're not drinking the water, then you're not getting rid of all the toxins. You're not helping your body digest. You're not helping the blood flow in your body. So it's really another kind of basic requirement. Eating healthy and drinking a lot of water are very, very basic. And that was going to help you feel less stressed.
That's great, and I think it perfectly explains just how basic and simple it can be, but can lead to, hard roads for a lot of people. I definitely have, had my challenges in terms of, I didn't really focus on my nutrition when I was younger, but as I've been experimenting with it recently and really trying to eat healthy in terms of my own diet and drinking enough water, whenever I'm in my house, I carry a gallon jug with me so I can keep enough water on me. And I've definitely experienced the mood changes and everything, and it's been wonderful to see. And I think it's something that really gets overlooked throughout a lot of college students, especially because to change your diet and to look at food in a different way poses a lot of challenges, especially when they're in the college environment. But ex- specifically for what you do, diets definitely range throughout person to person. So how do you really coach and advise someone to seek out different health options, and what do you try to provide for the college students to focus on?
That's a great question because you're right. I mean, some colleges are more health oriented in what they serve in their dining halls than others. So I kind of what I try to do is give them examples of what would be healthy and versus what would not be healthy, and in their environment they just have to do the best that they can. But one thing that I always point out is look at what the colors are on your plate. In fact, I actually have them take pictures of what they're eating, and I suggest that they try to get as many colors on their plate as possible, or in their bowl or whatever they're eating from, because that is an indication of more nutrients. So that's kind of like a little key to, or a little tool to know whether you're making good choices or not. The other thing is, if they have a refrigerator in their dorm, there can be things that they can keep, like they can keep fruits and vegetables. They can keep, apples or carrots, or easy things that are easy for them to have, that don't require they don't require preparation or anything like that. They can have yogurt in their refrigerator, as an example. They could even have hummus or guacamole, which are great for dipping a carrot or celery stick in. So, I encourage them to think about like what they can do in their environment. Most colleges do have some kind of salad bar, so they may not be as good as the one they have at home, but to the extent they can have at least one salad a day, I think that's really great, because they're going to get, the greens, and they're going to get, more colors in the salad than probably in any other choice that they would make. So those are a few little tips. And I guess the other thing I would say is, things like nuts and seeds are easy to carry around for snacks. I mean, they really have to just think of themselves as nourishing their body, that everything, as I said before, everything they put in their body is going to affect them. So they want to choose the most nutritious and things that are going to, help them feel less stressed, not more stressed.
Perfect. That sounds great. And I think those are a lot of viable options for students, at least, to find a few that fits well based on their schedule and really focus on it. And it can provide